no such thing, ever. I really do need to get a different loop for this, because there's not really a goblin for this channel. It doesn't really work.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is volcanic. I mean, fiery, kind of heat.
Oh yeah, I mean the fire loop works, but the goblin doesn't. I feel like we need an update.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe who cares? Sometimes low effort is best effort. Hello! Man, I love Maanya's like last second tech problems. They're my favorite.
Sure.
I don't know.
Oh, wait.
I don't know.
Wait.
Maybe.
Stop that.
Waka waka.
I'm back. Oh my
Da 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 da. Bonnie's already gone again.
No, I'm back. I'm just getting my coffee.
You're getting your coffee? Yeah, because you said you wouldn't be done making your coffee by the time you showed up late.
Hey, the coffee was done, okay? Don't know. It was done.
I believe you.
It was done. I just went and picked it up.
I believed you the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why. Like, why are you making it weird? Why are you making it weird? Stop making it weird.
Are we ever normal? Are we ever normal?
This is normal. Weird. What are you talking about?
No, this is why we have a half hour of mic checks. Because it allows for us to be professional.
Sir.
Hey everybody, welcome.
Say what? I'll say what?
What? Welcome to Debate Hub. I am Chair Shoremaster Debater, and this is our Volcano show, where we track volcanoes, specifically Pele in Hawaii. We've got Landon and Maanyaa with us here today, as per usual. Actually, for once, because we all managed to get our stuff working properly.
Yeah.
Let's let Maanyaa go first. Let's see how she's doing, and then we'll get Landon. What's going on, Maanyaa?
Oh man, I've been keeping busy. Lots of assignments to do. So, but my assignment is still, it's due tomorrow, so I'm still working on it. It's not long, it's like 2,500 words or so, so yeah, we should be okay. But now I have allergies since I've landed in Australia. My nose is always irritated constantly, and are so my eyes. I have to now start taking antihistamines. I never thought in my life that I would have to take antihistamines. So here we are.
Here we are.
And if you want to... Yeah?
It's almost histamines and histamines.
Womp womp.
So, and if you go to Cheshire's original channel, her personal channel, you will see that on the post page I've written several articles criticizing some people who have no idea how logical fallacies work, how argumentation works, how facts work, how opinions work, and you can go and have a blast reading at them. We already have had a lot of cool comments over there. So yeah, if you really enjoy lol cows getting really squashed, verbally, and pulverized, yeah, that's your place to be. So yeah, and I've been.
Wow, Maanyaa, I'm sure those things that you spent time and effort in authoring would be really, really effective argumentation if those people could read.
It's not for them; it's for our audience, right? For people who understand. It's like, again.
I'm out here representing trans rights today, because I like to do that every so often. Brilliant.
And I personally think that Steve McRae is a black lesbian transgender lady screaming to get out of her closet. So, all right, let's go.
You have to go to my regular channel to see that. Well, yeah, which Steve are you talking about? Landon, how are you? What's going on?
I don't know.
Hello. I can't do it like Tech Friday, but hello.
Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on your time zone, latitude, if you happen to be in an alleged continent or not. Maanya's in Australia, allegedly. And of course we have... That you're supposed to say Australia, allegedly, right? Because that way Susan doesn't cause red eye to get yourself canceled.
Yes.
You don't want to do that. And of course, we have
Oh.
fun people in the chat, including April, where you have to do enough Ys
April.
there. And we have Unofficial Journey and other fun folk there. We have a show here, but
Allegedly.
yes, what?
Allegedly a show.
Allegedly.
Yes. And what are you showing? You're showing this book.
It's the predictions from last time.
Okay.
I used orange pen so that yeah.
Wow, it's sort of lava like.
Or lava, and now I've lost that orange pen somewhere, so I don't know.
Well, I don't know what to remember. I am drinking the following here. It is a state grown. This is from the Fraser Valley in BC. This is a beverage which is in solidarity with those nice folk just right over there. In fact, the clouds is sort of party. It was rainy this morning, but now we can see Canada again.
Are you telling me that you can see clearly now? The rain is gone.
Well, unlike Sarah Palin, I can actually see all the way to Canada from my bedroom window.
Are we ready?
But anyway, yes, I think we're ready. We have we've done enough vamping.
Allegedly ready.
Share the.
Let's go.
Let's go.
The screen here. Let's do the screen sharing.
Yahoo!
I'm going to share the entire screen here and. Okay. Welcome to the Volcano Show. We're talking about volcanoes. Volcanoes erupting are a very common thing. This particular site, so erupting kind of is sort of a little bit of a nebulous term. This site uses erupting as in it's got lava coming out of it and stuff coming out of it. Right now there are 38 of those that are doing erupting, and 42 that are kind of in the warning stage, about to erupt or have erupted recently. And there's lots of these are the red triangles are actually erupting stuff. So you've got the usual thing. You got your two. Italy has two. Stromboli has been erupting kind of continuously. Nothing in Iceland. There are three that are in the warning stage. And of course, in the Indian Ocean, in Africa, you have the Congo, Indian Ocean, and Ethiopia. Those usual ones. Let's see. Usually, Indonesia has the top number, and it still is today. It has 7 that are erupting. Usually, it's 8. So Indonesia is down just 1. But yes, Indonesia is a very volcanic thing. It's a nice place for volcanoes. If we look in other places, in Mexico's got its central one that's always running. In Guatemala's got its pair, and Nicaragua and Costa Rica's got one that's erupting now. South America, we've got 2 in Ecuador, 1 in Peru, 1 in the Chile-Argentina border. Sandwich Islands has been going for a while. That's another one in another region in the South, Sandwich Islands.
UK, interesting.
Erebus is always this is the Sandwich Islands is South Sandwich Islands. This is down south. It's one of those little bits of the former British Empire that are still around. Philippines, of course, the Philippines and Kamchatka and Russia and so forth. And Japan usually has a pair that are running. So it's a volcanic state. If you look at the actual numbers, we've had so far this year 48 that have had ongoing eruptions. We've had 54 that actually has erupted so far this year. So, we're about halfway through the year. We're on par with 65 last year. So, volcanoes are pretty common. I will point out that tomorrow is the anniversary of the Mount St. Helens eruption. And yes, I was there. This is a nice picture.
Whoa! Oh,
This
that's
was,
fantastic.
I see it's down there. It was a very what you don't see is all the lightning strikes that are coming off the side of the mountains up into the.
I wonder if I could paint that.
We're on the smart.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I'll send you that. I can send you that picture. It's a black and white thing, but it's yeah. So
beautiful.
So a nice that was a fun volcanic eruption. A little bit cranky side, but it's a fun session. I want to point out that we tend to focus more on the Hawaiian Islands, is sort of the thing in Madam Pele. There was this article that appeared in Science Advisor, and it talked about essentially we know about the hotspot motion of the hotspot and the Hawaiian chains. This is currently the Tallorosa Islands. And one of the things it talks about is the difference between an extinct volcano, a dormant volcano, and an active volcano. This is showing the depth in kilometers down here. So let me zoom in a little bit more. Again, here is our map of the Hawaiian chain. It goes way off that way, but this is sort of the Oahu to Big Island to the next island being formed. And we see here, this is showing the depth of where it is. It has some sort of liquid squishy rock. And so Diamond Head, which is an extinct volcano, you have to go down into the mantle to find any plasticity, liquidy type rock. Haleakala in Maui is dormant, and we can see that its major chamber is sort of on that boundary between mantle and crust. It doesn't have very much near the top. There is some, but this magma chamber used to be there is hardening over. Now, it's to say that Haleakala can't erupt. From time to time, pressure will build up and work its way through cracks, and you get little blips on the side over geologic time. Whereas Kilauea has lots of magma near the surface, and you can see it's coming up. All these are being fed from the mantle, but it depends on where. So what's Kilauea doing right now? Well, we just finished our 22nd eruptive episode. The eruption started on Christmas Eve, and we've had 22 episodes. So this is the first time since the 1983 Great 3,500-year eruption cycle we've had episodes. These episodes are coming in right there now. We just missed it. I was hoping that we'd have an ongoing eruption during our time, but we finished,
always just miss it, or it's like just happens right afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had about 10 3/4 hours of continuous eruption, and during that time, we had 3.8 billion cubic meters, about 5 million yards. 3.8 million cubic meters. Sorry, so that's 3.8 million washing machines worth of lava came out during that 10 3/4 hours, right? And the sulfur oxide levels, we've had some pretty good outgassing. I remember seeing one of the ones that's showing it's having about 50,000 tons of sulfur oxide per day going out. So it's had a pretty.
It's a lot of rocks.
Again, it remains pretty active. A lot of rocks, lots of gas that are in the process. So that's the current active state. Now we mentioned we've had these episodic eruptions, right? And so here's a table I will show you going across of the episode numbers of how long they've lasted. You can see the thing and the pause between it. And so we can see that we've had eruptions, and no, they tend to
Zoom that
be.
one in a little bit for us, please.
Okay, let's go in and zoom.
Pretty please.
Did I do it? Did it do it too much? Did I do it too much here? Let's go back again for this here.
We broke it.
Is it here? I want to go into, I believe it's in here. It went into, here it is. Okay.
Yeah,
Is that a little bit better?
That's a lot better.
Okay.
Thank you.
So here's the episode number. This is the duration and the pause between episodes. So 14 hours and waited for 16 hours. And you see that there was a long time of several days here, but mostly it's been a day or less than a day with things that were on the order of every week or so. But then it lasted. This is a thing that took 11 days between these pauses and the days and 5 days. So you can see we've had a process going forward. There are lots of episodic eruptions that have been going from December to May. So let's look at the tilt meters, right? We one of the things we look at is the tilt. This is near the summit, and we can see that this blue line showing the deflation inflation cycles, and this particular eruptions, instead of having sort of the mu curve, has this sort of where the inflation is sort of wiggly. It kind of comes and goes a little bit, but reaches a peak. Once it reaches a peak, the eruption starts. Magma comes out, turns into lava, and sinks. So we have this up again, down again thing. So this was just this is the eruption, the 22nd episode that just finished here. Now what they do is they put an opposite date over here, so you can see where the things cross. But you can see over the last 3 months, again, this episodic set of cycles. From the point of GPS, the distance across the caldera.
If I didn't know better, I would say that almost looks consistent.
Yes. And the first, at the beginning onset of the eruption, the contractions are sort of an after effect. So when we see it plunge, it's because the mountain is going whoosh, and we can see it's up and down thing. So it's being relatively consistent with these episodes. From the 5-year cycle, we basically see that the mountain's expanded, had a little bit of down thing that's been sort of sitting level as these eruptions keep ejecting material and this expansion contraction process. So with a map here showing the pit of where how it was now Holy Mountain Mau, the down drop block that originally formed almost 500 meters deep when the summit collapsed at the end of its 35.5-year eruption until 2018, has been filling us up. And this was a case of episode 8, and the total lava volume is about 23.1 billion gallons, or about 87.5 million cubic meters, or 87.5 million washing machines. As per the case, we have these two vents on the side that then flow out lots of material that then flows across the plain. Since Christmas Eve, we've added almost 59 meters, about 194 feet onto the set. So what was once, and that's since Christmas Eve in terms of the amount of stuff. And again, you look at the distance here, it's over a couple kilometers. It is 330 hectares, or 816 acres of lava that this thing is covering. So it's 816 acres at 39 meters, or 194 feet on average. And so Gilligan's Island used to be somewhere in here, and it's long since buried. But as you can see, there still is some distance to go before it reaches the main site. There still is, plenty of room to fill up in this area. from the point of view of earthquakes, we have fairly few earthquakes at the summit. These little dots showing earthquakes. Here's the summit. Here's holding on down drop block, the ocean, and the circles show you the depths. So these blue circles
We'll need
are
that
quite
one
deep.
zoomed in a little bit, please.
Okay, let's go back.
Don't break it this time. Oh no, I broke it again.
Okay,
Oh,
there it is.
yeah, there
here
we
we
go. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so here's the summit, and we see there's not very much in the summit. The color shows the depth. So things are in the blue cycle are in the 20 to 40 kilometers deep. These are very, very deep earthquakes, and this is sort of believed to be the mantle plume coming up through the mountain into the oceanic crust, and this particular upwelling leads Kilauea, Mauna Loa, Gualalai, and the offshore volcano. So we can see there's relatively few earthquakes at the top. These earthquakes down here are not magma. This is not magma that is causing this. This is the fact that there is so much stress and added rock up here that this is slowly pushing the side of the island towards the sea. Basically, it's slumping it into the sea on a slow basis. And these are these little cracks as the added pressure from the summit is pushing its way, pushing the rock down towards it. So these are not magmatic. These are essentially just things. Now, there are, if you look from the point of view of here shows the distance, right? So this is depth here, around 30 kilometers, and this shows you the longitude. We can see here's the area where the magma is coming up from the deep, and these earthquakes here are the result of this side of the island sort of being pushed towards the ocean due to the added weight of what's going on in the summit. Okay. And you look at the number of earthquakes, right? The rate of earthquakes overall in the region, we get somewhere in the 20 to maybe 25 earthquakes per day. This shows you the accumulated, motion, but basically the blue bars are showing you over time. It's giving you a, we're getting a fairly, it's wiggly, but most of it is the side of the mountain, side of the mountain, side of the island, sort of creaking towards the ocean. When you look at time, again, you have this constant deep quakes as upwelling and the side of the thing with occasional, bigger blips. But again, it's almost nothing at the actual summit where the eruption is going on. It's just a weight of the island pushing its way towards the sea. Again, the past month, if we look at this this thing here, you can see lots and lots of earthquakes, right? And there are some up at the summit, mostly on the side as the side of the island is sagging its way in towards the sea, and the upwelling.
I live in Canada, so I can't. It's hard for me to imagine like that many earthquakes going on all the time. Like I don't know, man.
Well,
it's crazy.
Where I lived in New Zealand, I was living right on on one of the fault lines for the last 3 years. So yeah, felt an earthquake. The first time I was in Christchurch when I I was sitting right on top of the epicenter of the earthquake from where it originated. And it felt like a car had slammed to the side of my house and the whole house just vibrated. And I was like, what the hell happened?
Man, Maanya's chair's been through some shit.
Yeah, right? Hey, I'm making some more tea, man. I need tea.
Yeah.
I need tea.
And you can see from the month, it's kind of comes and goes, but maybe there's a little bit of lull here, but somewhere in the 20 to 30 earthquakes. Now, most of these quakes are small. These are tiny magnitude quakes. They're not big stuff. But sure. So again, you can see this noise on the side. So the side of the island is unstable. I mean, the amount of mass that is accumulated there is creaking towards there. At some point, if there's enough mass accumulating up in the summit, there'll be a massive slide as it slopes down, and we can see in the ocean bits of stuff that has had these avalanches that have occurred where stuff has poured into the, basically broken off the island and slammed down into the ocean, creating a pretty significant tsunami when it's done.
Just like how everybody watching this stream is gonna slam that like button and that subscribe. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
Yeah,
I have a
smack that like button. Smack that like button like you smack a bag of rice. Let's go.
That hurt me to say out loud.
Smackety smack.
So, if we look at what's happening right now, here are the two vents. Right now, there's a live, we'll visit the live webcam and see what's happening. Well, it's raining right now, so I guess the previous one was better. This is another one here, or this morning, or the morning you can see the two vents. There's another one from the other side showing you again. So there's lots of gas. Again, that's about that 50,000 tons of sulfur dioxide spewing out from those vents. This shows you the caldera. So this region here. This is the Holly pit that formed when it was over 500 meters below the surface.
And
you can see it still has a little ways to go.
Somewhere down in there, Gilligan's Island is buried.
Yes, somewhere in this. I think it's closer to this region over here. There's the two vents on the side. So as I say, you could see it slowly filling up the area as it gets harder and harder. It's got to put out a lot of lava before it gets to the point of spilling off. Now, it won't necessarily get up to this high here. This is the rim of the caldera. It won't be that high. It'll probably, when it starts spilling out, it'll probably be at this layer here. But
is it me, or it looks like bigger than we started, like when we first started this show? It's like, it looks like massive compared to that.
Oh, it is bigger because like before we were looking at it, it was way lower down, so the surface looked smaller because it was smaller in the bowl, and now that it's like up near the top, it's like the whole surface area has gotten larger.
Yeah, how far Madam Pele and us have come, isn't it? This is a wonderful relationship. Yes. I love it.
Yeah, and you also should understand that we're seeing super accelerated geologic events, right? Normally, the geology of stuff, it's over a long period of time. We're seeing very rapid things to give you a notion again of how fast these islands form. By the way, there's Mauna Loa, right? There's the Great Mountain. The long mountain that
it's like it's gonna reach Mauna Loa one day.
Yeah, but Kilauea will become the Mauna Loa eventually, because Mauna Loa only broke the surface less than 1 million years ago, and Kilauea is only a couple 100,000 years.
Only less than 1 million years ago, when humans were not here. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as air quality goes, see the air quality monitors. Right now, when we look at it live, there is sort of a it's fairly neutral because the trade winds are blowing to the side. When the eruption was going on, the episodic thing, there was a lot of gas that was basically headed towards in the direction of southwest. But all the things are reporting relatively good air at this stage. Now we have a bunch of, if you look at the situation in the national park. So if you had been to the national park, was it 5 years ago or so, and you come into the park interest station, you would have been given this map that looks sort of like this. Basically, they're saying, hey, this small pit, this area is kind of closed. Try not to go in this area because it's bad. The road was closed, but there was a road around there. But the map today is more like this. And let me zoom in. This is the larger map. Down here we see here's the Kilauea summit. Here's the Mauna Loa summit. The national park up the top. But the main interest area now is this zone. Let's go back. Here's the main park area. And you can see the pit now is much larger than small hole. It's expanded and deepened. We can see now that the road is really not shown anymore, and we'll see why. That road that used to be sort of there saying on this road because there's stuff on it. Well, there's stuff on it, and we'll see.
There's stuff on it. I like it.
Here is that road.
Oh, wow.
Here's why
Oh,
we can
wow.
see the amount of ash when those tall plumes blow ash rock cinders, right? Silicon cinders and so forth there. It is now a pretty dense covering over that zone. Pretty significant amount of ash that's showing up.
That must be
over.
That must be some height, isn't it? That ash layer. How high
Yes.
is that? Like how thick is it?
So
oh wow.
His picture of this was a tall sign, and his estimate at this stage of the road that the rock ash is about 2.5 meters deep at this point, right? We're away from the caldera. Here's the edge of the caldera over there, and it's blown in that much.
Wow.
So that was a tall sign that was down here was basically an interpretive sign saying, 1974 eruption over here, blah blah blah, parking over there, and now that all you can bless is a tippy tip of the post. Now this is a hazard. Now we can see if you look in here, what are the challenges eventually when this thing stops erupting? Will they let people down in there? Well, they have to figure out a trail, and you've got this crumbly bits here. I mean, this is unstable stuff. But what we anticipate is as Madam Pele fills up the Maanyaa pit, now sort of the lava lake, is going to shore up this thing, and there'll be less sloughing off of this thing. And it may be that they'll come up with basically a hiking trail to come in on another side. You can imagine some trail that goes zigzag down there to the bottom when it's safe to do so. But right now it is not safe. So we like to see lava. Here's one of the fountains. The fountains that we've had, episodic fountains, are not the super tall ones we saw. We were not seeing the 500-meter things. We're about 250 meters, right? It's pretty tall from that standpoint. And the volume that comes out is significant. Here is again the showing the two fountains. Here's another one on the other side, and we can see again that the material is reaching up to the height and slightly above the caldera rim, which causes basically rock to freeze. It's only red for a brief period of time until it freezes over with contact with the ground there. All this rock spray is turning into rock ash and dust that flies over. Here's a picture. I took a picture at sunset. So I like this thing because we had this really beautiful plume. You can see it's casting a shadow.
Wow.
On there.
That's
that was
beautiful. That's absolutely
nice.
Beautiful.
Right, and she's been put on some gorgeous fountains in these episodes. Now there is research going on, and they do come down here. They use a helicopter to come in. They do it when the winds are to the back. So all of this particular fountain is way off to the other side of the caldera. Remember, from a point of distance, we're talking a pretty good distance from this is over in this area here, or this area here from this distant side. So
the forbidden brownies are inching ever forward.
Yeah. But notice as well, they're approaching to do what? We're approaching to take samples of the lava rock to understand the gases that are still in the flow. So this flow has reached all the way this distance, right? It's covered again, these massive flows to wind up covered to this bigger distance. However, again, you notice the person has in about fire retardant suits. They've got gas masks. They have multiple lines of escape. They have, but also the hazard here is only the gases coming off of it, but also the dust, right? Now, by the way, here's showing you the two vents, and you notice this is these are taken 10 minutes apart, and we can see how this particular vent here is up and down and sort of piston. Basically, this boiling of material comes up, out gases and out. Here is again a notion of how. So when the eruption kind of starts, what we see is these sort of ponds showing up.
I saw that and I was like, when did it move to the moon?
Yeah. The goblin being the goblin.
and as you see in terms of stuff, you have the rise and fall. So you get these pistoning around the 10-minute segments before it starts to go really long. So let's take a movie showing you the this is a helicopter thing showing you the flow. The amount of material coming out of that is a huge volume of material. You can see the ash. These are about 250 meters high.
Wow.
You can see the ash fall is going there. Again, through the fog, and you can see that the amount of material coming out of this thing. There's enormous volumes pouring. Look at how this is an avalanche of rock. This is not just a little dribbling pond. This is a huge amount of mass, liquid mass, moving down from this particular vent, even though it's not fountaining, very, very wide. At night, of course,
wow,
things are just gorgeous, right? It's amazing to see a lot more of the detail of these fountains. This is another one in episode 20, again, and the rivers. You can see more of the rivers coming off of this that's flooding the Holy Mama lava pit. And again, it kind of comes and goes as you have these. Again, the fountains are only
got me with that one. I wish Elon was there.
Oh no. Oh no.
And here again, this was taken again by my friend who's there measuring and being very, very careful about gases, right? You have sulfur gases, right? Carbon oxides can mix with water and you basically get sulfuric acid in your lungs, which is a bad idea. Don't put sulfuric acid in your lungs. But worse than that, there's a longer term where there are trace amounts of fluorine compounds. And fluorine poisoning gets in the fluorine starts binding into your bones. And you will have years of painful death if you are exposed to fluorine compounds.
That's fluorine, not fluoride.
Not fluoride.
Yes.
But we have to clarify these things.
Yeah. Or else, there's some anti-vaxxers who go by I'm gonna go and sit near a volcano because we use fluoride for our so what? It's good for our
they'd
bones.
more be like, why are we drinking the stuff that comes out of volcanoes in our water?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is
you never know with these guys.
Again, these very
that looks so cool.
Thick, fast flowing, a lot of things off of this pool, and the material that is moving at a fair fraction of Mach to eject up that high. They did a really good job of a fast floater to catch this thing.
I imagine when you're in this area where you're trying to collect samples and stuff, the feeling of being away from civilization and maybe being away from all the problems with the humanity that humanity poses, and just being there and be like, yeah, I'm back when the earth was had less human conflict and everything, and just actually find it. Some people might find it relaxing. You know.
It
Yeah,
is
knowing
actually. It is actually relaxing if you have on your safety equipment and the meters are taking their recordings. You have a chance to just watch and experience and feel, because we're not experiencing the sound. We're not experiencing the thermal heat there. Those are sensations coming off of it that are quite extraordinary. Again, lots of ash. It kind of comes and goes. So a couple minutes later, it's doing this, right? Kind of this pistoning. It kind of ups and down, ups and downs, ups and downs. And then it's up
April,
again.
stop being so funny, you guys. You're making me crack. April from the live chat. The fluoride is the least of our problems. The water is full of dihydrogen monoxide.
And as April points out, there is a lot of water vapor that comes out. That's one of the things that the model of how a lot of the water vapor on the surface came from volcanoes. The volcanoes put out some of the ejection of material is coming from essentially steam pressure.
Now you're telling me that volcanoes ejaculate water.
Yes. You can see again that how you do it. You have protective gear. You have gas masks. Have materials. And here's your gas sensor, right? This is actively measuring. So even though you have gas masks, a limit which says, hey, I don't care. Don't expose yourself to this much gas. And so there's kind of the thing where it'll go off and say, it's now not safe. Get out of there.
Remember, everybody, that's life advice. Don't expose yourself to this much gas.
And you can see the winds that are blowing this ash, these thick ash. This is basically little baby rocks out there, rock dust. And again, this was a case of one of the cameras that are closer in, recording essentially this stuff.
Oh, I like to think that those are the little dust mites from some Ghibli movies. The little guys with little arms and throw the coal in the fire and Spirited Away.
But the other thing is that this, besides being this is very sharp bits of rock bubbles that are fractured because the rock has violently outgassed and broken open. So this is rocks. But the other big problem here is something called silicosis, right? Getting silicon fibers into your lungs is a real way to start, amongst other things. I don't know, Maanyaa, you?
Yep.
Why is silicosis bad?
Well, it's gonna. So if you get like, the shards that are coming from there, they are very small, like they're micrometers, like small.
Yeah.
They're so small, and they're very fine, very thin. And if you inhale them, they can get lodged into your lungs, and over time they start corroding the inside of your lungs and can cause a lot of tissue damage, which can lead to silicosis, which is a breathing issue, and it's fatal. It's fatal.
Yes. It's
either you need a lung transplant.
Yes.
Either you need a lung transplant or you suffocate and you could die. So
yeah.
That's right. And silicosis has been a big problem in a lot of construction industries for a long time. So yeah, just be careful. What's that material called that was used a lot in housing?
Asbestos.
Asbestos. Yeah, that also can cause a lot of lung problems.
Because the problem is not these giant blobs, right? These blobs aren't going to fit in your nose. What you don't see is this mist, this haze here is full of very small microfibers. And breathing this stuff, the stuff gets in your lungs and causes lots of problems. So when you're out there, you have gas masks on. You have a meter that's saying, because this gas mask, we don't anticipate high fluorine compounds, but when you start sniffing and getting too much sulfur and fluorine and other nasty gases, that basically causes all this says, time to leave. And you drop everything. Yep. When this meter goes off, you even let go of the camera because cameras can be replaced. your lungs and your skin and your bones count.
So just since we're talking about silicosis, and so there are some buildings that have been constructed before a certain year, since asbestos was banned in construction material to be used as construction material and in other manufacturing, products and stuff. So if you're buying a house, just make sure, and it's an old house, it can be tempting to buy old houses, refurbish them. Be very careful and make sure that you have the report where the people who check for asbestos come in, check everything, especially the ceilings, and give you an all clear before you buy a house like that. And also,
yes,
be very
please
careful.
go on. Yes, it is not.
Coming back.
You can see here as well, the wind is blowing. So we're looking at off towards the asphalt area, and the wind is blowing up dust. Over time, combination of rains and wind will blow away the fine particles. So in the park area where it says this area is closed, right? This area is closed, and there's no longer they don't even admit to a road going there. This is why this region here is full of dust that you do not want to inhale. That being said, it is quite a satisfying thing to be in. Life does go on. So here is a little bit farther away. This was closer. This particular picture was taken closer to this, closer over here, right? So it's not as deep, but it was deep enough in that particular thing for the that was, you could see it's buried somewhat to push its way through, try to get some light photosynthesis.
Plants can grow anywhere except my house. What the fuck?
Oh god! Oh, Chad.
And you can see this thing was pretty well pummeled with stuff. You could look at you see the bits of obsidian, these volcanic glass, right? These are basically rock bubbles that fractured and so there's not much stuff. But this plant says, no, I'm not done yet. Red Eye can tell you about zombie ferns, but this one is ferns that says, I'm not dead yet. And good for it. Life in these areas continues on. And of course, you have this gorgeous rainbow. Hawaii is the land of rainbows. You look at the Hawaii license plate, it's a rainbow, right? Typically, in the late afternoon, you get because as the sun begins to go lower in the horizon, the upper air in the mountain cools. At contraction pulls moist air from the ocean, rises up, condenses, and rains. And get these beautiful things. And again, it shows the extent of this particular eruption and how far this lava is flowing. Again, enormous volumes that are coming out of these fountains that are producing these long flows with this beautiful rainbow. And
so many colors here. So many
And
colors.
as I say, it is in a gorgeous state of stuff, and we could see in this long lava fountain stuff. And of course, from a Hawaiian perspective, they look at this not as destruction but renewal. And
April said rainbow, so the volcano is woke.
Yes, it is. It is. I will not assign her to Madam Pele.
The volcano doesn't care about your feelings.
She can be whatever pronoun she wants to be.
Right? Even Steve cannot tell Madam Pele.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just assuming she because that's traditional in the Hawaiian thing, but you never know. But still, from a point of view, the rich soil this thing is creating. Yes, right now there's destruction, but there is around the corner renewal. These islands are some of the richest soil, just like the North Island of New Zealand, incredibly rich soils because of the gift that's coming out from this event that is going to produce extraordinary living situation.
Yep.
And again, these flows at night, you can see. This is showing you this is from the Volcano Lodge. So if we go back to the part,
okay.
we're talking about over here, Volcano House. You can stay in. Here, just again for a point of view of the park, that essentially you're about 45 kilometers or 28 miles to Hilo, down to the left, the park entrance, Volcano House, the visitor center. What we're seeing over here is from that area, right? You can see this is what you look like if you go to the lodge. You can see, a pretty good ways across the caldera. You could see, in fact, if you don't even stay at the lodge, but they have this trail on the outside of the lodge, you can go in and look at stuff. It is quite there. Now here, you're very far away, right? The gases are far away. You're upwind, so there's no danger of stuff. So you don't even have to get down to this area here. You can enjoy the sites from a very comfortable distance and have a nice lunch or dinner, or stay at the lodge. I want to show you this particular event. This is a Mother's Day event here. I want to show you. It's about
Mother's
2 minutes.
Day. I love it. Mother's Day event.
So come on here. Let's see. Is it going to cooperate? There we go.
Are we gonna hear the sound?
It's its own talking. But you can see one of the things about this particular spray was, look at this fan. What happened is that there's the vent turned into a long, thin spray, kind of like a lawn sprinkler, flowing back and forth. So it's going to the side and producing, again, tremendous amount of ash in the back area here. That was quite spectacular, this wide thing. Also, by the way, I want to point out here, these flames. So as you know, it kind of comes and goes in pistons. What's happening here is hydrogen gas has ignited. There's hydrogen gas coming out of the components. And so the hydrogen gas has ignited and is burning to do what? To create water, right? So this is
wow. Woo!
And hydrogen is not also a gas you want to. It'll make you sound a little bit like your like helium thing, but it's not good to breathe because it forms stuff.
Yep.
You can see these wonderful areas of stuff. This was put on the show for Mother's Day. Madam Pele honoring mothers. She is considered in Hawaiian mythology the mother of rocks, the goddess of fire. And again, these extraordinary lawn sprinkler sprays of material, the speed of the ejecting, the amount of volume coming out of it is just extraordinary. And she puts on quite a show. It might not be as tall as some of the other things, but the beauty of these fans, and you can see how it's not just going up, it's up and moving the side and back and forth, and there is quite a story set. If we see today, right, this is the live picture now. You see right now, you see these dots here. It's raining right now. So it rains a lot in Hawaii, and so it's raining. But the two vents are still. There's a lot of volcanic gas coming out. And then again, we just had the end of the deflation and begin to inflate again. So it looks like we will have another, episode 2024 soon there, but that's sort of a live picture of what it looks like now. A little bit wet, but hey, Madam Pele does her thing from that perspective. I think from the point of view of actual from the let me find the other back again from the I'm looking for what this is here. I want to look for one other thing here. Yes, so back again from the point of view of the tilt meters. Where is the tilt meter? Tilt meter stuff is here. So we can see that we had this long ride up to the top. We had this sort of half day of eruption fountaining. So if it goes along the same line, these are pretty periodic. So we might expect that within what, day and a half to 2 days, we might see another peak and another drop. They're not really consistent. I mean, there's sometimes you get these long, sometimes short, but it does seem to be fairly consistent. So let's go back to the main vMix call here and stop sharing. Okay.
Hey, so we got a bunch of questions in the chat. So
sure,
we
let's
should
go
go
over
over those. But as we're going over those, get your predictions ready because we're gonna have to see what our predictions were, as well as what we think is gonna happen for next month. So there's a question from Athens that says, Landon, do you have anything to say about the video of the fault line moving in real time from earthquakes?
Yeah, I was tempted because we're more on volcanoes than earthquakes, but
Yeah.
there's a very good video from a security camera of a compound in what I like to name as Myanmar, because I like to dead name the military junta, who I don't think much of, but it was a great thing that even though that quake, the thing was way away from the epicenter, you saw the ground motion on that thing. There's a video that you can analyze. There's lots of stuff to see in that. But again, the ground is squishy and movable, and that's another example of quakes that are doing now. That was a fairly sizable quake, and it was a lateral fault. Basically the material sort of did this sort of a thing here. Well, could go here like that.
If you want us to do a video more about that and about earthquakes in general, let us know. That's something we could probably set up.
But it is a good thing to show you, what it looks like. When I'm in an earthquake, I try to pay attention to these sort of things because you can see the buildings flexing, you can see the ground flexing. This was farther away, so we didn't get to see the surface undulation as much as the lateral motion. But still, it was an impressive thing to show you what happens in earthquakes when ground goes whoosh.
Next question, Red Eye wanted us to ask, what happens if you pee in lava?
Well, your urine stream is going to vaporize before it even gets to so let's talk about really hot material like what you saw in that.
He's gonna burn off before that, I think.
Yes, it'll boil away, and such. Yeah, so if you want, good.
And your instrument might not survive that encounter. I'm just saying, don't take it.
Yeah, it depends on how far you eject material, but if
how much pressure you got.
If you wanted to sort of get an idea, a simulation of it, if you had a really hot coals on a fire and you took a bit of your urine and pour on it, it'll go whoosh. But the lava is actually tend to be much higher temperature.
A little bit more viscous.
So it'll boil much faster. Yeah, boil much faster.
April asked, how big would you say the caldera is? And do you think we could fit 5 million Teslas in it? 5 million Teslas.
I mean, from the point of view of, I'm looking at the caldera is about the actual caldera, which is the the larger outer rim stuff is about 3 by 5 kilometers in size, but the Holy Maanyaa pit is about 1.25 kilometers by about 2 kilometers. And the down drop block is a smaller area. So it's about a third of the larger overall caldera. Now we know that the lava has flowed across the caldera, in the 1920s and to the mid 1800s, 1920s. It flowed across that whole caldera. Eventually, this Holy Maanyaa pit will fill up, but, and this is the sort of the big question: why is the volcano continuing to force magma up through a very small channel, come out 2 holes, when it could easily go down the east-west zone or down the southwest zone? And it did it recently. We had, remember in the show, we had a thing where there was an 11-hour eruption in the southwest zone. There was about a 2-day, 3-day thing on the east-west zone. So magma can go that way. For some reason, Madam Pele is insisting, saying, no, I'm going to go up the top. I'm going to go through all that thick lava lake rock, come out 2 small holes, and put on a big show, because that's what she wants to do. So good on her.
Next question we have, Landon, what's the original depth before the lake boiled off? They're asking for a friend.
I believe if I recall correctly, the original depth was around 500 meters, about 1,500 feet, 600 feet deep before that lake there. So it's fairly deep. So it's come up quite a ways. Let me see. I will, while you're going there, I'm going to go and see if I can find a better map showing the information. So what's another question?
How close is it to flowing over the drop down block now?
It's got a ways to go still. It looks like I'm looking at the stuff. It's showing. Let me go back to this last item here. If we look at I'm just kind of try to count. So these are in 1, 2. It looks like about a little over 100 meters, 300 feet before it can go over the top. Now, remember, since Christmas Eve, it's added another 60 meters or so. So it's got another 100 meters to go, but it's martini glass shaped. So as it takes more and more volume to get higher and higher and higher. And at some point, you'd think, Madam Pele says, why am I doing all this work going up the very tippy top when I could go down the side?
There's a follow-up question to that, but before
Sure.
I get to that one, Red Eye also was asking how many cubic meters of rocks have flowed into the crater since the lake boiled off.
Oh, see, I'm looking for that information. So it is quite a large volume. I'm gonna find that information.
Yeah, no worries.
Can I put on a show a?
Yeah.
I think I found some information to show you the set. Let me.
No, you can't.
Let me go.
Never.
Oh, sorry.
Not even once. How dare you?
Let me show you this particular image here. So I'm going to do the.
We didn't get consent from Maanya's
sharing.
chair.
Maanya's chair is having a coffee. Hey.
Okay. Maanyaa had one coffee already, had a tea. Now she's having another coffee. She's not going to be okay.
Okay.
Nope.
So
that's a correct prediction.
Understand that this is just when the Christmas Eve fountain started, right? We only have a little bit of stuff, and we can see here's a cross section. and it shows the depth of the collapse at the bottom when the water lake formed was 1,640 feet or 500 meters down. And you can see the volume there. This is what it was in December, right?
That's a lot.
It's moved another 59 meters up, right? So if you look at the line here, this gray line, this is what the caldera surface was like before the collapse. We had this little rim. Maanyaa was this little
Getting closer.
Sort of pit down here. Now, if you look at the volume of the area of this and the area of this, there's a lot more area here, right? So for it to go up, it's got to go farther and farther and farther up there. But from the point of view of distance, right? It's depending on, we were talking about whether it goes into this area here or this area here. It's between maybe 100 to 200 meters more, depending on where you're talking about in the zone. I'll find out the volume of there, but it is a significant amount, and you can see since 2018 the collapse, and there's a water lake. Remember, the water lake had a depth of around 50 meters before it was boiled away, and we had this rapid rise. But again, the volume here is much smaller than the volume here, just the way that the geometry works.
Geometry. So there's a follow-up from Titan who wanted to ask, going back to there being two pressure points where it's outpouring from and not going other directions.
Yes.
They had asked if it's possible that apart from whatever pressure is involved, the lower atmospheric pressure higher up is why the magma is preferring the two holes as opposed to a side vent.
So the change of altitude, I mean, first of all, the mass of air from the summit, which is around, in terms of those in feet, around 5,000 feet, versus lower down, there's not much difference in air pressure between the top and the sea level. The matter is the fact that it's got to push that magma up, a kilometer or more to reach the top summit. When Mauna Loa erupts, it's pushing the magma up another 3.5 kilometers. So when magma moves, it does push a lot. But the part of the thought is that when the 2018 summit collapse occurred, it kind of sealed off the magma pipes that made it easy to go to the southwest or the east. And so the ability of the magma to come up and drain off the side was curtailed because of the collapse, kind of sealed off areas. That being said, it has erupted just recently in both directions, right? So the magma can go down that area and has, but for some reason, that magma that went that way, that had a little bit of eruptions, ended up hardening, sealing that stuff off, and it's easier for the gas to push it up to the top. Again, I'm not complaining. It just seems odd. The atmospheric pressure is relatively minor compared with the rock pressure that is that's experiencing.
Titan also was asking, are there any valuable minerals likely to be found should I go looking for gold? And I think we touched on this a little bit when we were talking about like plants coming back up. But it does seem like, I don't know if you're going to find so much precious metal, but if you're looking for like
good
dirt,
soil for your
that's
plants.
Yeah, dirt that's good dirt go burr.
Yeah,
dirt that make plant go burr.
That's in a couple of things. First of all, there are trace
Words.
minerals, right? And trace elements you can find. For example, thorium is a very common reactive material there, and so there's typical amounts of thorium coming out of it. Yes, you can find gold and platinum and iridium, so those very rare metals in trace amounts. On occasion, magma can have concentrated pockets of material, but what we're seeing here in the middle of the ocean is sort of the mantle going up through basalt. It isn't like continental stuff where you have rich materials that are sort of being melted and put on top. This tends to be pretty much more uniform in your silicates than before. Yes, you can find trace materials there, and
Did you go with a sieve and find like little gold chunks?
You can find, you'd probably take, metric tons of ash and find, a few fraction of a gram of gold. Right. It's going to come in very trace amounts, just because it's earth, and earth has trace amounts mixed in it. Where you have something like up in Upper Canada, where you have, nickel deposits, that's a whole different process. Where if you have old volcanoes, right, the diamond mines, for example, you find up in Upper Canada, are actually bits of old volcanoes that has taken carbon, put it under pressure, and you have these plumes of carbon which bring diamonds to the surface. The old volcanoes actually are actually lakes up there in Upper Canada, and when they do the mining, they go in the wintertime when the lake freezes over, and you have these rigs that go out onto the lake, drill through the lake down in, and start tapping in to find some of the precious minerals and diamonds that are parent up in Upper Canada. None of it are benefiting from that.
There's a lot of speculation of what's going on up there.
Oh god,
Zarnarak
from the live chat going with the Johnny Depp quote. I've got a jar of dirt. I've got a jar of dirt. I've got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it? I love it. I love it.
Sar also asked, does Landon think the whole caldera will be filled up before the volcano will become dormant?
Yes. Before the killer volcano becomes dormant, it'll become Mauna Loa size. It'll be Mauna Loa will be will turn into sort of like the Mauna Kea, this sort of more pointy stuff with little cone zits around it as little pockets of magma go pop, pop, pop as it goes into dormant. And Kilauea will become the big mountain. It'll become, again, mass on the order given its size, it'll become a mass on the order of Mauna Loa. And the island that used to be called the island that is off the coast that is forming under the ocean will become the new Kilauea. It's just the way things go. So it'll get to be quite big before it becomes dormant. The rains will take over, and so it will go from mountain building to mountain stable to mountain eroding to it has gone under the ocean because Madam Pele's sister, goddess of the ocean, wins in the end.
It do be like that.
Sorry, Madam Pele.
So we should get to what were our predictions last time, and I hope everybody took some time to think about what their predictions are going to be for the end of the episode. I didn't. I have no brains.
So what was the chat thing? Predictions next month.
Well, what were our predictions? Who was right and who was wrong? And let us know what your predictions are, and we'll make sure to get those written down for next month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. April had said she's gonna read in parallel with the American political situations, and then said get measles. And Chess said one bigger, larger eruption by the next show. So Chesh was dead on, if I might say.
I would disagree. I'm sorry, Chesh, because she said one big eruption.
Boo.
I
Landon's gonna try and get me on a technicality.
Well, if I look, so when was our last show?
20th of April, if I'm not wrong. 30th of April.
I'll get the
So
exact
we
date.
had
Go on, yeah.
19th or 20th. Yeah, 20th for me,
okay.
19th for you guys.
So we had 4 episodic eruptions. 11-day. We had a 10-hour, 8-hour, 4.5-hour, and 8-hour.
Oh, okay.
So we had 4 eruptions.
He
going,
says
not
this
one big
after
one.
at the very first thing he said in the episode was, well, you know, the word eruption is like kind of wibbly wobbly. And he's like, well, technically, no.
Yes.
Fuck you, Chesh. You were right, but fuck you
Because-
anyway.
Because I'd ask you right now, is Kilauea erupting, right? The eruption episode is paused in terms of lava, but there still is lots of gas coming out.
Boo this man, boo.
Sorry, trademark Kennedy.
Okay, so Landon's
So
prediction.
I would say, okay, go ahead. What did I say?
Okay, so Landon's
wrong.
prediction were a few more episodes, but fountains not as high as mid-March and April. Periods of times between episodes will get longer. One not as higher. Sorry, I can't even read my own handwriting. There will be one that will be as higher in volume but not height. So that's what you said last time.
Okay, so I was right and wrong. I certainly we had 4 episodes.
Partially right. Yes.
The period of time was the next period of time we went from 9 days to 11 days, but then we went to 3 days and 5 days of period. So that part was wrong. It actually sped up again. The volume is great. The volume of those 4 things were quite high. The 4 episodes had a lot of volume. It wasn't as high. We didn't get to the 500 meter stuff. We already got to 200 meters. So yeah, but the thing I think was that Madam Pele, after the 11-day pause, had a 3-day and a 5-day, and it looks like she's due for the 3 days. So I think that part was wrong. But episodic, yes. Not as high, yes, but high volume, yes.
Yeah.
So Chesh would have been perfect if she had said we'll have several eruptions rather than one big one. I would have been perfect if I had not said.
Chesh's
prediction I would have been perfect.
We could say that Chesh's prediction is like a subset of yours.
Yes.
Right.
And you take my prediction and Chesh's prediction and sort of merge it together, you'd be perfect.
Yours is like a universal set, and Chesh is like a subset of that universal set.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, okay, all right. So Sean had said, Madam Pele is not quite ready to go quietly into the night. That was true. That's true.
Yes. Yes, very good.
We'll continue with current level of activities for the next few weeks, and on the 10th or 17th of May. Ooh.
What happens?
Oh. What happened on the 16th of May, guys?
10th or 17th of May, what?
I think so. They meant end on the 10th or 17th of May. I think so. That's what they were saying.
Oh.
I don't know. Sean's in the chat.
Yeah.
Sean, can you clarify for us what was supposed to happen on the 17th?
Or we could go back, actually, to the previous stream and look at the live chat if you want.
I'm not doing that. That's going to take too long and too much work. We're almost at our time cap.
Okay. Alrighty.
So I would say this, that yes, the 21st episodic 21st phase episode has ended about last middle of yesterday, but it looks like, given all the symmetry, that we're going to have another phase 22 will occur within a couple of days. So I would say he was correct in predicting the end of a episode, but all of the indicators suggest that we have another episode coming in a couple of days. Now, will that episode be a bunch of dribbly stuff, or will it be a big fountain, or who knows, right? But all indicators are that we have the eruption has not finished. episode finish, but not the eruption.
Maanyaa, what was your prediction?
My prediction was more of what we saw in March. So I'm kind of wrong.
Yes.
I am wrong.
Well, I think there's something to be said for what the only thing that's different is in March, we had taller fountains than we had in April, May. The fountains weren't as tall, but let's give Maanyaa credit. 500-meter tall fountains are something that's sort of unheard of in the summit in the cold air. We've never had in recorded history had fountains that high. We had one on the Kilauea Iki on the side, but we've never had fountains like that. So March was really kind of an extreme fountaining. The ones that Maanya's talking about in April and May are decent fountains. The volume, like I said, is there. They're just maybe the holes are a little wider, so it can't get up as high. But
yeah,
we're talking about 200.
That would be expected, right?
Meters. 250 meter fountains are pretty good. That's pretty high. So
it's like the thing is that you would expect that to happen, isn't it? Because there was so much like pressure and lava flow in March that it widened the I'm going to use this word, the orifices. So
yes,
the orifices. So the pressure this time would obviously be low in April. So yeah, it was expected.
Yeah.
So I could have added a little more detail. So yeah.
But pretty good.
Is there any other ones?
Not on my.
All right. So our predictions coming up. I'll give you a couple from the chat. We have Sar saying that they are going to predict what they always predict: aliens coming to pick up baked ice cream cone, the volcano. Because if it happens, everyone will cheer for me like it is the end of a football movie.
Is that aliens like in Xenu and the Scientology aliens?
That's a good question, Sar. Do you have a follow-up for us with what type of alien is going to be showing up? I think that is reasonable. April is predicting a kaboom. There's going to be a kaboom.
Okay.
So I take it by that she's talking about there will be a massive change. You won't have just a little episode with a fountaining, but there'll be a big something where they're happening.
Some extra. Something a little bit extra.
Something.
A little bit of spice.
Something a little bit. So just to be clarified, you're not just talking about a really tall fountain. You're talking about some big.
Something explosive.
Crack opening up. And stuff ejecting all over the place, huge flows.
You'll get a portal to hell. Maybe that's what what they mean.
Red Eye is predicting, I predict the tariffs will increase to 453%, and then lowered to 10%, then raised to 649%, then lowered to 5%, then removed completely, and to commemorate the deal, they release a meme coin.
So this is not the unnamed tavern. I think so. You got confused.
Dapper's not here.
I'm not writing that.
Yeah, but,
come on, give me something. Give me something.
All right, Landon. What is your prediction?
So Reddit coming with a prediction. So I predict. Again, we're talking about the next month from now. They will have at least 4 more episodes.
Okay.
And those episodes, those will have fountains that'll occur on the order of half day or so. Significant volumes like they have been in the month of April, May, but not as tall in terms of the fountains. So I guess what they're saying, you might say, is that the next, that will have basically the same kind of pattern the last month will occur next month. And again, I'll say that we had a 12-hour, 10-hour, 12 or 8 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour fountain with 11-day, 3-day, 5-day, 4-day. So I think we'll have 4 episodes.
At least.
Episodic, 4 phases, and at least they're around there, plus or minus 1. It kind of depends upon
Margin
when
of
the
error.
show occurs, right? And their fountains won't be, again, they'll be nice. They won't be the
As
super
high.
tall ones, but the volumes
They'll have volume.
will be they'll have volume.
April did clarify that they think Mount St. Helens, but smaller.
Okay.
And Sar elaborated and said huge rock monsters that fly space like the Hulk jumping on Earth, so they'll land on Earth, pick up the volcano.
Okay. That may cause.
Red Eye, do you still have anything?
My prediction is going to be we're going to see the pattern continue for a little bit longer, and then it's going to settle down.
So, could I interpret Red Eye's statement to say that Terrace will annoy Madam Pele and she will respond accordingly?
Madam Pele is going to release a meme coin?
but yes, because Red Eye's prediction is to get these carrots that are on again, off again. That's like Madam Pele's episodes. So he's saying that Madam Pele's episodes will coincide with a bunch of on again, off again terrace, followed by a meme coin.
I think you're trying too hard.
I tried so hard.
Maanyaa, what's your prediction?
So Madam Pele is gonna settle down. Like no episode, and not any more episodes. Madam Pele is gonna settle down.
Oh.
Okay. Now, at some point, that will be true.
One day.
Like no more episodes.
What Maanyaa,
no more episodes.
What Maanyaa is saying is that episode 21, that we'll look back on and say episode 21 is the final episode, and it's going to.
And then this show will be over.
Quiet.
That'll be it. No more Volcano show. If Maanyaa's right.
No. I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. I mean that she has given us. She has given us.
Yes, it is. It is a miniseries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Madam Pele has given us some spectacular shows for March, April, and even May. I think so. Now she's gonna be like, I think so. I'm gonna have my whiskey now, and I'm gonna just settle in. So, which she deserves, in my opinion. She deserves fully.
And I point out there's some wisdom to what Maanyaa is saying, because people get used to it's just going to continue to be episodes till the end of time. Like, no.
Oh, when Maanyaa says it, she's got wisdom. When I say it, it's Chesh was almost right.
Well, she's looking forward. You were talking about what happened, which didn't. But almost. Again, if you took Chess's prediction and my prediction and merged them, you'd have a perfect score.
Sean, last minute added, my prediction this month will return a 404 error file not found. I'll rewatch last month's episode and post previous prediction for clarification. Thanks so much, Sean.
Yeah.
That
would be funny. Madam Pele doing a 404 error.
That would be funny.
You think of the episodes, because if you go with Maanyaa's prediction and you look for episode 22, Madam Pele says 404 error. Episode not found.
Episode not found.
Sean, would you like to make a prediction though for this month? You made a prediction for last month, right?
And I try to wrap the show up, and Maanyaa's like, hold on, we gotta wait 2 minutes for the chat to catch up.
The guy went all the way back trying to look for shit for us. Come on, give him a chance. Come.
I was definitely right. It was volatile and unpredictable, just like American politics, says April.
and as Star says, follow 4 episodes of miniseries. Recall that we've had 21 episodes. So this is a season, right? This is like a Star Trek season.
Yeah.
There. 20 episode season would be a decent season. Now, if with Star Wars, you'd turn it into a pile of poo and step in it. But Star Trek, on the other hand, has his seasons.
I should also, while we wait, give Sean a hot minute. We should tell you what's coming up. On the 22nd, Slice
Yes.
for Kane is going to be on, and he's going to be talking about his deconversion story of like how he sort of switched to atheism, I believe, and then we'll find out where he's actually at right now in his belief structure and where that went. It's a bit of an intense story, so be aware that that is what is going on. With that, so trigger warnings for that. Over on my normal channel, we're gonna have a Dumb Fuck Friday.
Hey,
it's not the show
we're
is not
back, baby.
the show is not starting back up all the way yet, but we
Not all the
are
way.
doing a Dumb Fuck Friday. Also
It's
on
gonna be
the
fun.
next
It's gonna
Saturday.
be fun.
Next Saturday is going to be the debate pub. So if you do want to talk to us and enjoy and do Q&A stuff about politics and politically related things around the world for news and tech and environment and yada 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 yada, we'll probably talk a little bit about some of the impeachment articles that were brought forward, but we'll probably try to keep Trump a little bit on the lower end of things because he likes to dominate a bunch of stuff and nobody really wants to talk about him anyway. That'll be on the 24th, I believe, at...
Is it 24th? I thought it was the 30th. You hear about?
Oh, sorry, the 31st. Sorry, not next.
31st.
The next Saturday, the 24th, I have Geo Streamer coming on. Geo's going to be on, and we're going to be talking about fascism and what it actually is. So, sorry, I misread my calendar. The 31st is Debate Pub. On the 24th, Geo's coming on. On the 22nd, we have Sly Sparkane. And if you're interested in checking out our Let's Play of Star Trek, and you do like Star Trek, go find Top Hats Off.
Yeah, and
Nice.
this month we'll schedule the show a month from now.
Yes, we
On
will
time.
schedule that once we're off stream. Maanya's gonna be on. Maanyaa, are you doing anything else? Or is that what you're up to?
I might actually, if I am able to finish my assignment today, I might next day, maybe after Dump Like Friday, do another show. I have something in mind, but I'm still contemplating it depending on how much workload I have and how much my brain, like Sean says, can do the braining. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Fair.
but yeah, I'll try keep I'll try to keep writing the posts I do on Chesh's channel, and about how to really sort through bullshit that lol cows come up with, and the
Yeah.
and
It's on the community
fallacies, the logical
tab.
fallacy.
Check the
It's on the
community
community tab.
tabs.
It's now a post tab now. For some reason, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. But
What about you, Landon? What are you
So
up to?
yeah,
So the 28th International Obfuscated C Code Contest, its 40th anniversary contest, is going. The submissions deadline is going to be closing on June 6th. Check out iocccc.org for details. If you haven't registered and want to submit, get your submission in. Just be aware that at that deadline, the server, the microsecond that the deadline passes, you won't be able to upload. So upload now rather than be caught because the server is unforgiving for late submissions. Look forward to submissions. And I predict that the next time we do the show, I will be in the middle of judging the submissions, and that'll be fun.
Fantastic. Thank you all so much for joining us. This has been Debate Hub, our Volcano Watch, tracking Madam Pele. We're on year 2 we've been doing this, so please feel free to check out the backlog and see how far we've come. Thank you so much
Click
for
that
sitting
like
with
button.
us. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. And just to shout out Red Eye one more time, to yeet or not to yeet? This is the question. And paint must be yeeted.
Yeah, check out Red Eye's show because he does some really nice paint things. Cool.
Bye.
ooh, nice.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.